I even put on a dress for you people. Are you not entertained? Hello, Champagne Dreamers. Welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl, Miss Jaye, the trash queen of glam, geek, and gore. And today's video is the April review roundup. We are going to talk about all of the fabulous cosmetic products that I reviewed on Jaye.com. Now, I even put a dress on. I know I always say that I'm the trash queen and I'm always sitting here in a t-shirt, but just to prove that I do sometimes do the full drag, things are starting to open up. I'm slowly coming out of the bunker. So I even put on a dress for this. So I hope you're ready. I'm ready. I looked at some great products in the month of April and I can't wait to share them with you. And we're going to get into that right now. All right, so yes, elephant in the room. I am actually dressed up and I'm wearing a dress. I don't think it'll be up by the time that this video goes up, but I am gonna have a fabulous behind the scenes video. So Angie, who's normally behind the camera, she brought my camera with on the shoot, and we did a shoot with my friend Miranda, who did the first professional photo shoot that I ever did for the World of Champagne at Jaye.com, and she was back in town and she was open for appointments, and so we did it and we put together this beautiful champagne sparkle look. So don't get used to it. I'm gonna go back to looking like trash very soon. But this is not about me and my outfit. This is about the products that I reviewed in April. I am so excited. There were some good products. Let's start with the first Monday in April. That was April 5th. And I made that Kaleidos week. If you saw some of my previous videos where I had the pink and purple look, kind of similar to this, but a little bit darker, that was the Kaleidos Club Nebula palette, the collab palette with Angelica Nyqvist from Sweden. And so I decided that that Makeup Monday was going to be Kaleidos week. And so I had done a Face Friday of that look that I used for filming, and we went ahead and reviewed the Escape Pod palette. We reviewed the Club Nebula palette. I had two of the Futurism palettes, the Sashimi City and the Lunar Lavender. I did a comparison of the old version and the new version of Mars Melter, the beautiful red peachy highlighter. And I did the Multi-Chrome Highlight Space Age Prophecy. So we had a lot of Kaleidos products. I decided to just make a day of it, and they are so fun. I loved them. I love the Kaleidos eyeshadow formula. Their shipping takes forever. There were so many people who got their shit and I hadn't even gotten a shipping notification. So it's one thing to say it takes a long time to ship, but even getting it out the door took a long time. So that's my main criticism of the brand, is that the products, if they ever arrive, are beautiful. Now on Monday the 12th, we had a couple more fabulous indie brand reviews, starting with the Collective Cosmetics. So I get the monthly subscription box from the Collective Cosmetics, and I get the Decadence box, which is the bigger of the two. And for April, oh, pretty girl, the theme was Metamorphosis, and so they had a beautiful butterfly hair clip, and they also had some fun, vivid colors. Now for most of the products, I'm just going to include the pictures in the video that I had on the website, just because we've had a whole day of the photo shoot and another event that I went to, and so I didn't want to dig out all the products. It was going to take too long. But I will show off the shadows from the Collective Cosmetics. And so for April, the Metamorphosis Collection was this collection of shadows right here. And I'm getting a beautiful little collection of Collective shadows. I am super excited. Now, if you've never purchased from the Collective Cosmetics before, they are all handmade. They are small batch handmade cosmetics. They are a little bit, how would I describe them? So they're definitely like tightly pressed. So, and they're a little bit drier of a formula. So if you're looking for something that's got a lot of emollient, a really creamy sort of texture, that's not really what these shadows are. These shadows are a little bit stiffer, and so they blend out with a nice like big fluffy brush. I love natural hair brushes with these. I know some people are not all about that life and you just love synthetics, and you can definitely do synthetic brushes with these, but I have a few beautiful, not very expensive natural hair brushes, and I love to use a natural hair brush with these shadows. I think they're gorgeous. So these right here are the shadows, and then this up here is the highlighter. So this was a lot of fun. It also came with a butterfly hair clip. Don't know where mine is, but I thought it was right here, but mine was purple. It was adorable. The other thing that I reviewed on the 12th, the cake liners in the Bitchin' palette from Midas Cosmetics. And I said in the review, I am not great with cake liners. I want to be, I aspire to be, but I'm just not. And so I definitely struggled with them. I had a few that were very patchy, that were very sheer. I don't know if I added too much liquid, not enough liquid. I've never been good with any sort of liquid eyeliner, so I keep buying those cake liners, and so I keep hoping I'll get better. That's how it works, right? You just buy the materials and then you know how to do it. Seems legit. They also had a couple of lip duos, and I did buy both the lip duos, and I liked their lipsticks. I thought their lipsticks were pretty good. They were a nice stick lipstick. I don't use them a ton. I prefer liquid lipsticks, but I know if you don't like dry liquid lipsticks, these are great. They had beautiful colors. They were kind of red, pink sort of moments, so I'm a fan. So April 19th was a lot of fun. That one had a couple of different brands. First of all, I can't even believe I'm saying this. I had a fantastic experience with products from the Ulta store brand. Now, in the past, I've read the Ulta store brand to filth because I just have not found anything that I really, really liked. The only thing that I really just adored from the Ulta store brand was a bronzer that was part of a gift with purchase, and you couldn't even buy it. So when I ran out of it, I couldn't replace it because it wasn't something that was even part of their collection. Any of the eyeshadows that I've tried have been garbage.
I tried to make it fancy so it wasn't so mean.
And the other review that came out on the 19th is a new brand that I found. This, as far as I know, is the first Native American-owned beauty brand that I have purchased from. I was very excited. I'm always looking for new Black-owned makeup brands, minority-owned makeup brands, queer-owned makeup brands, and this is one that I found through Trixie Mattel. So Trixie Mattel, I think, was it with Priyanka? She had a get ready with me with somebody, and she showed off this palette from Prados Beauty. And they are a fantastic brand, and this palette is so gorgeous. It's a rainbow palette. It is a lot of fun. It was like 30 shades, and it was really good. There were a couple shades that I struggled with. There were a couple that were kind of struggle bus. There was one that, like, it just got hard pan when I looked at it. I don't know what was going on, but it just wasn't good. But to have two shadows that were kind of duds out of like 30, I'll take it. It was fantastic. And they also had a really great blush and highlighter palette. There was a 4-pan blush palette, a 4-pan highlighter palette. There were some lipsticks. I didn't order any of the lipsticks. I think some of them were sold out. And there was a kit that had everything, but since the lipsticks were out, you couldn't get the kit. So I just stuck with the powder products. And I was pretty impressed. I'm excited to see what else Prados Beauty does. Now, if you follow them on Instagram, you know that they also recently opened physical location. In this economy? I mean, in a post-COVID world, I'm impressed with them. That takes some bravery to say, you know what, we're going to open a physical location. We're going to carry our brand as well as other fabulous beauty products. I think they're working with other brands. I haven't seen all the things that they carry, but I'm impressed. I'm excited to see what else they do. And the artwork is gorgeous. I mean, check the material, because I forgot to talk about what the actual Ulta products were. This is why I hold up the products, so that I can remember. So Ulta did a whole collection for WandaVision, and it was legit pretty good. There was a little trio of eyeshadow palettes. They were little minis that had 6 shades each. They were really fun. There was like a 50s, 60s, a 70s, and like an 80s, 90s. Super cute. The blush palette was gorgeous. And then there was a set of liners that was not great. I did kind of pan the liners a little bit, but the powder products were really surprisingly good. I've never had a really good experience with Ulta eye products. I don't know what's going on, but if they're improving, I might need to check for them a little bit, because they're definitely inexpensive. And I've always found Sephora's store brand to not be very good, but much better than the Ulta store brand. But these WandaVision products were legit. And then we have April 26th. So we had 2 new reviews for Makeup Monday on April 26th. The first one was a few face palettes from XX Revolution. So XX Revolution is part of the Revolution Beauty umbrella. They do so many brands. So many brands. But they do like Makeup Revolution, I Heart Revolution, Revolution Pro, Makeup Revolution, fuck, I don't know what's happening, I'm spiraling. They do Makeup Obsession, that's a good one, and that's the hardest one to get in the US, and that to me is the best one of all of them. But they have a new one that's supposed to be their like fancy brand, and it's called XX Revolution. So they had these face palettes that were supposed to be kind of like a dupe of the Hourglass palettes, the ambient lighting powders, and the ambient lighting blushes. And so there were 4 different colors. I had a ton of Ulta points saved up. And so that's how I bought the One Division collection, and it's also how I bought the XX Revolution face palettes. Now, I liked them, but I didn't love them. They were okay. I didn't really find them to be that spectacular. I had the same problem with them that I actually have with the Hourglass products, which is that, like, the blushes are supposed to be a blush infused with this ambient lighting powder, but the ambient lighting powder just overwhelms the blush, and it just becomes like sort of a tinted highlighter. So I don't love them, and the XX Revolution, they were okay, but they weren't great. And there was one that I ordered twice, and it arrived broken both times, so that was definitely a thumbs down. And the second review, the last review that I did in April, was from Milt Cosmetics. We know I've been loving Milt Cosmetics for a while. They've been doing really well. It had to stop sometime. The Mary Jane palette was such a disappointment. It just was not the same good formula that they've had in their more recent palettes, like the Blueprint palette, the She's in Parties palette. It just wasn't the same. It was so weird and chunky. The shimmers were chunky, and it just didn't blend out as nicely. And I don't know what's going on. It was all kind of murky. And I know it's supposed to be like a smoky eye palette, but there were almost no like middle shades. Like the shades that were supposed to be kind of the middle of the road kind of shades went really dark. So you would put them on and they went really, really dark. Or they went kind of an odd undertone. So they just were not great. I didn't love it. So those are all of the products that I reviewed in April. Let's go ahead and talk about my least favorite product as well as my top 3. So the worst product of April 2021, I am so sorry to say, I don't like being rude to I'm going to re-record that because you were yawning.
You're boring.
Yeah, your stamp of approval back there. So the worst product of April 2021, I'm sorry to say, I hate to do it. The Mary Jane palette from Milt Cosmetics. I want to love this. I love this like raised textured packaging. I love the idea of sort of crystallized buds and marijuana smoke, but I just don't love this palette. There just aren't any real good medium tone shades here. Like this one's a little bit more medium, but it goes super dark. This one just has a weird kind of almost greenish undertone. And then these shimmers are kind of chunky and hard to use. I had a lot of fairly good products this month, and this barely made it to the bottom spot over those liners from Ulta because those like charges should be filed. But this one just did not impress me, and I'm worried that Milt is going to start backsliding into some of those not so great formulas that they used to do. So I am still here for Milt. I'm hoping that they get it back together because that She's in Parties palette was the bomb. It was so good. And the Blueprint palette was beautiful. It just was shades that I don't really use. Like the browns were not that great for me, but it was a beautiful formula and really worked well. So this was a little bit of an aberration. I've heard the 420 palette is terrible. I don't own that one. And so maybe just the marijuana themed palettes haven't been good. Although Smoke Sessions is the shit, so I don't know. I don't know what happened. This was just such a disappointment. I bought it during the VIB sale, so I'm glad that I got 20% off, but it just wasn't it for me. Sorry. Now for my top 3 products of April 2021. Now, in the number 3 spot, I don't know, my office is a little bit of a mess right now, and makeup just seems to be disappearing into the void. I can't find this product to hold it up, so I will put the picture up again. But it is the eyeshadow palette from Prados Beauty. This palette is phenomenal. There were 2 shades that were a little bit wonky. I'll make sure I include those on the screen. It was like a red shade and a blue shade. And they got a little bit of hard pan. They were hard to swatch. They didn't blend out nice. I tried playing with them a little bit and it just wasn't a good experience. But otherwise, that palette is amazing. I am super excited. The artwork is beautiful. And I just am excited to see what else they do. I think that this was really fantastic. I haven't had a chance to use it in a Face Friday, but I've definitely been just playing around with it, and it is pretty fantastic. So in the number 3 spot, the Eyeshadow Palette from Prados Beauty. In the number 2 spot, this has been a year of surprises. There have been so many things on these countdowns that just really surprised me. I never would have guessed. And number 2 is one of those, and that is the blush palette from the Ulta WandaVision collection. What? Who even am I? I am always making fun of the Ulta store brand collection and how terrible it is. And this is great. This is low-key really great. There is a shade right up here. This is the shade Spell. It's almost a dupe for Orgasm. It's got that like peachy, corally, golden shift. Beautiful. This pinky kind of peachy pinky with gold. This like berry shade that's a little bit more matte, but it's got kind of a satin finish. This lighter pink. These are beautiful. And this is so inexpensive. I'll put the price on the screen. I don't actually remember how much it was. I bought it with points because I still was like once bitten, twice shy with the Ulta store brand. So I didn't want to have to actually pay for it. But now that I've tried it, this palette and the eyeshadow palettes, but especially this blush palette, I would pay real dollars for it. So I'm glad that I got it for free, but I would absolutely pick this up with my money if I hadn't gotten it with points. This is fantastic. And this is my number 2 for April 2021. And in the number 1 spot, we have the Club Nebula palette from Sweden. Okay, it's not from Sweden, but it's a collab between Kaleidos Makeup and Angelica Nyqvist from Sweden. Are you sick of that yet? Because I never will be. I love this palette. This is fantastic. I did a Face Friday with this that I mentioned earlier in the video. I used it for a filming day, and it was beautiful. And I used it with the Escape Pod palette. And that's the one thing I will say about this, is that I wish there were a few more medium-toned, bright matte shades. The shimmers, beautiful. The dark mattes, beautiful. But the Escape Pod really brought in some like vivid, bright, medium shades that I really needed to make a whole look for me, for this big old hooker clown face. But this palette is gorgeous. These dark mattes up around here, if you've ever looked at the Viseart Dark Mattes palette and you've thought that maybe you should get that palette to get some dark mattes to play around with, maybe darkening with a green or a purple or a blue, this palette is a great option. Now, I know they did do a recent restock of this. I don't know if it's going to come back again. I don't know if you'll be able to get it again after this point. You can check and see if there's any left. I love this palette. This shade Nebula is absolutely a stunner. I love that. All 3 of these kind of duochrome pastel shades, stunning. These are so good. This like cool toned, transition-y kind of shade, this very taupey shade. Oh, everything that I need. It's just a wonderful, wonderful palette. And if you've got the Escape Pod palette, this palette with that one, absolutely everything. They're everything in my life. I live for it. I die for it. I'm resurrected. It's a whole Easter situation. Like, I love it. They're so good together. But for my top product for April, I had to give it to one of them, and so it was absolutely the Club Nebula palette. All right, that is my review roundup for April 2021. Let me know down in the comments below, what did you think? Did you try any of these products? What did you think of the reviews? What did you think of this style of review roundup, where I didn't show all of the products, I only showed the top and the bottom? Did you like that? Did you like it better when I used to show off the products? I would have shown them off, but again, I couldn't find the Prados eyeshadow palette, and we were doing a photo shoot, so today was kind of a lot all at once. But so if you really like the other version where I hold up all of the products, we can go back to that. But if you like this, let me know, and maybe we'll streamline it in the future. While you're leaving me that comment, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, or you can give me a thumbs down. I'll take it either way. It's all engagement. The algorithm loves it. It's not a picky bitch, and neither am I. You can also hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads. I upload at least 1 video a week, and sometimes, if you're very, very good, I even have a bonus video for you. Ooh, saucy. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website, The World of Champagne, at JanessaJaye.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this monthly review roundup. I have been loving doing it, and until I see you again, bye. And for today's video, I'm excited. We are doing the May review roundup. So we're going to talk about all of the products that I reviewed on JanessaJ.com in the month of May. Fuck no, the month of April. What month is it now?
May.
It's May, so it's
January,
the April.
February, March, April, May.
I don't know. I wrote May review roundup here, but that's a lie.